Hello there. I'm happy to do this session, and actually it was very spontaneous today, because yesterday I was sitting in the audience and I was thinking, oh my god, everyone on stage is so cool. I'm not so cool. I don't want to do a session. I'm only a communications guy, and I don't have several PhDs and whatever. And then a few people told me, well, but most of the people on stage have a story, but perhaps don't know how to tell it or tell it right. And actually, that's what I do my whole life, telling stories. And I have a few facts why I did this my whole life. I'm from very little on, I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to tell stories, wanted to go out and tell the people everything about the world. And I did this for a long time, and in classical print magazines. And actually, in the 90s when I started, I never thought that this would change in my whole life. But it changed dramatically in the last few years, and I learned a lot about the new way of storytelling, because the storytelling in the digital age is a little bit different to how we used to tell stories in the last years, and that's what I want to talk about today. So I changed my profession from journalist to blogger first, and from blogger to content marketeer. So I work for a company which is called The Digital, funded by Deutsche Telekom in Munich. And my heart is still in the blogging and telling my personal stories, taking people on my personal journey of digitalization, of transformation. And that's what I do in my blog called Lousy Pennies. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, if you still use Twitter, it's Lousy Pennies. When we're talking about storytelling, I said everyone here in the room perhaps has a big story to tell. So, would you just please tell your story in 1 sentence? So, what's your story?
The story about what? About my life? About who I am?
What's your story? What do you want the world to know?
What do I want the world to know? I want the world to know that there is deep complexity and struggle behind the facade of a human being that's smiling.
Okay. Good. What's your story?
I don't know. It's quite a simple one, but I'm a creative person. I want all to know I'm a creative person, so I need some time to make my story, because I want to choose. I want to think 2 hours in the stories. I want to choose which one I like. I want to write it down in the best way. So it's just a production.
Okay. Yeah. What's your story?
I guess my story is that I believe in human potential to advance.
Okay.
I'm an entrepreneur, so I founded several biotech companies, and now I'm managing the Barcelona Science Park, which is a big hub of startups in biotech in Barcelona.
Okay. Your story?
I have kind of a double story. On the one hand, I'd like us all to be more aware of how our species is a great species, but nonetheless broken in many ways. And secondly, the other side of that story is that, you know, other terrestrials, other animals, are not that far away from us.
Okay.
You know, exaggerating, well, maybe not exaggerating, a dolphin and a human are almost in the same category.
Okay. Wow. So, what's your story? In 1 sentence.
I'm still defining mine.
Yeah.
That's what we'll talk about tomorrow.
Okay, good. Oh, what's your story?
So my story is about fight great disease, which is tuberculosis, and through that I've tried to invest knowledge, but also entrepreneurship, funding to startups producing products against it.
Okay. Wow. So everyone.
But you, if I may, you asked two sort of different questions at the same time. The way I picked it up.
Yeah.
What's your story, or
Yeah.
what story would you like to tell?
Yeah, it's more like actually it's you see on the next slide something to that, because
Okay.
that's a very good point, because I come to that, because let's come to the other question, because I put here let's ask you, so how do you tell it to your audience right now? Do you have an audience?
Yeah.
How do you tell a story right now?
First of all, I introduced tuberculosis, which is non-known
Yeah.
disease. This is the first thing to show the problem, and then I explain what we have, the questions that we have made to ourselves in order to address this problem, and how the outcomes of these questions have been done. Actually, I have two questions.
Yeah, but how do you tell it? That's the question.
Ah,
It's
how you mean that?
How do you tell it? Because I think that's the main issue in the digital age.
Well, it
in
depends
that
on
age
the-
where everyone can tell a story.
It depends on the audience first, the sort of audience that you. But usually, I tell it. You mean the medium that you do that, or how?
Yeah, do you use a medium? Do you talk on conferences?
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
do you write articles? Do you do videos? Do you?
Usually we do conferences. Yes.
Okay, and that's where you meet your audience.
It's well.
Yeah. But
Well,
that's a question you should really ask you. If you want to tell a story, the first thing is to know what kind of story. Second, the channel, which way, and then to know your audience, because this is very important. Because you have the art of storytelling is very universal, but you should focus on your target groups, on your personas, for example, and that's why I do ask that. And that would be the next question: which channels do you use? So, for example, which channels do you use to get to your audience?
I used to use a blog, but suddenly I decided to stop blogging, and now I mainly use speeches around.
Okay. And why did you stop blogging?
Well, that's a long story.
Okay.
No, to shorten the story, I received a kind of award from the Spanish king, and I was told to stop from the kingdom, you know.
Oh my God.
That's the short
How the
story.
storytelling ended. Okay. And the last question is something I always ask clients in the corporate sector. Because if you want to tell a story today, some people's KPI is just, I want to tell a story. I want to be heard, and it's just telling my story. But mainly in these days you have a target. That's why I asked so specifically who you want to target, because when you know who you want to target, then you have a goal behind that, and we call it KPI, of course, today. So do you have KPIs for your storytelling?
Excuse me, what KPI stands for?
Performance indicator.
Okay.
So that means you define
Goals.
targets, you define goals which you want to achieve. So, for example, what could be your KPI?
I mean, people that you reach, right?
So
Readers.
just reach. Specifically.
I mean that could be a KPI. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I'm not
it's a
saying
very
it's
good.
not,
It's a very good KPI.
Yeah.
So actually, when I started blogging, my KPI was reach, and a very big KPI was being known as an expert, and the outcome of this KPI would be speaking on conferences. So I started blogging about my my story, which is the digital transformation of a journalist from the old print era to the digital time, and I took a lot of people on that journey. Storytelling is always about journeys, and soon people read my blog and invited me to those conferences. So I got both KPI. Another KPI, for example, could be just sales, or getting in contact with VCs, for example. And so all this comes together, and if you know who you want to reach, how you can reach them, and why you want to reach them, then you can measure everything, and you can plan it. You can go do strategic storytelling. And now we're coming to the slide that I promised to you, because the main problem is I asked you, what's your story? And you said, wow, is that what the people want to hear? And that's a question every one of you should ask yourself, because many times the story is very, very interesting for oneself, but not for everyone out there. And that's a slide I show very often especially to corporates, because especially in a corporate environment, a brand has a very, very strong mission. They want to educate the people out there about their issues, about their products, about how good and great they are, but people mainly are not interested. So we have a very small spot here inside that where you match the need of your communication and the need of your target group. And every one of you, when you communicate, when you do storytelling, you have a target group. Sometimes you need to get to know your target group, because if you want to have reach, and you have, what do you want to do?
Women.
What would be your KPI, your target?
Oh, I haven't thought about that.
No. Do you have a KPI? in storytelling?
Well, yeah, it's to generate actions.
Actions in what kind of actions, for example?
Well, in my world, it's collaborations, projects.
Yeah.
Not just to talk, but for something to happen.
Okay. So you need people here, the gray ball, to target with your storytelling, and in that part where they are really, really interested, really engaged, and really say, wow, yeah, this is cool, that sounds cool, that's interesting, and I want to engage with you. I want to make business with you. And that sounds now very, very theoretical, because you can say that people need to engage, you need to get your target group, but the big question is how do we develop those stories? And I brought you something to tell you how I did this in the Stone Age of journalism. When I worked on the print newspaper, there was only one method to find those ways to engage with people. And there was one big, really big tool. With that tool, which we used to get the right stories to our people, and that was a tool. It was just the belly. We thought we were sitting inside our editorial office and were thinking about what kind of content is the good content for our people outside. And that's okay, a big belly, but it's not really big data. Then
That wasn't you.
Huh?
That wasn't your belly.
That wasn't my belly. I found that on Giphy.com. But that's how we worked for a long, long time, and it worked very good. We made a lot of money because the advertisers thought, oh yeah, they're writing good content, and we saw it. But these days it's totally different. These days we have something called a content shock in the internet. Everyone is producing content. Everyone and everywhere. And people are on different websites, on blogs, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and are overblown with content. So the main thing you should ask yourself when you talk about storytelling in the digital age is how to get through in this world of that content shock, and how do I get through to my audience. And that's why we should use big data these days, and that's why I wanted to show you a few tools which you could use to learn something about your audience. And one of those tools, this is a screenshot. It's called Answer the Public, answerthepublic.com, for example. And what this tool does is it talks to Google, and the main big data machine out there.
Answerthepublic.com?
Answerthepublic.com. Actually, it should be here, but okay.
Sure.
So this is it, you go to Google and...
Now, I go to answerthepublic.com. Let's try this.
Answer.
Interesting.
Yeah. And where is it? Yeah. Now let's here. That's where I just did a screenshot. So see if it works. I hope. Yeah. This is answerthepublic.com. And I really love this tool, because it tells me so much about my readers. For example, it's let's have one. I need one keyword right now. In my slide, I used robotics, but
tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis. Okay, let's see what happens.
Man.
Yeah.
So,
How do I write it
track
in
my-
English? C or
CEO, yep.
CU? No, CU.
Tuberculosis.
like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Country?
We take the UK. You can choose the country here.
Okay, I see.
So Google is different in every country. So it really it goes to Google and asks Google for data, and it's specific for the country. We would use UK to have it in English, and then go to get questions.
59.
Why is it searching for questions? Why is it now going?
What do
with
people want to know?
Because
Yeah.
that's how people discover you.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
They ask
how
questions.
that's how people use Google, and not only Google. They don't just type in Google.
Oh, it's
They-
just these are the questions that people just ask to Google. That,
Yeah.
For instance, what is tuberculosis?
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but the thing about the big data is it's really not guessing. It's telling you what
it's
people
real data.
really search and really want to know. And most of them are asking questions. And even in so it takes a little time. The internet is not very fast here.
Yeah, not too much questions actually.
Yeah, yeah, but normally the yellow thing
It's random.
should
Okay.
be going. We can have a look at the screenshot I made.
Okay, sure.
So and actually I didn't put.
So you put robotics and you
I put robotics.
this 140.
Yeah,
And then you see-
140 questions, 104 prepositions, and in alphabetical order 658 information pieces of information. So now we see how people are really interested in. And this is a very good research for you, what people are really asking. And if you know what they are asking,
Then you can.
you can answer that.
Okay.
You can make the content right to that question. And that's how the big belly is replaced by Google. And you still need to put a lot of brain in the content you produce. But now you know, okay, these are the main questions regarding my audience. People who are interested in robotics, in tuberculosis, whatever, have those questions. And if you are the expert who can answer those questions, the possibility is very high that they will find you. And the other thing is just using Google itself, not another tool. So the first thing what I do when I'm starting to think about a new topic, I go to Google. Do you know what happens when I put in Google just in the search what is it called?
Search box?
Yeah, in the search box. For example, KINNERNET. You know what happens? And comes Google Autosuggest. And Autosuggest from Google is also big data. Because Google goes and says, KINNERNET, okay, what did people search together with the search term KINNERNET? And I tried this just a few minutes before. This is a screenshot. So Autosuggest immediately kicks in. It kicks in when you put the first 2, 3, 5 letters. Sorry, I do not speak so often in English. Presentate in English, and you see it starts and okay, KINNERNET 2017. It's not too surprising, but you see people also search for KINNERNET Italy, KINNERNET Europe, and this is something you can facilitate because you know what people are searching for that. So, for example, if you have a science park in Barcelona, you can use that to know what are people in Barcelona searching about your topics.
I'm doing just that, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's something you should know. It's really easy. It doesn't cost you a dime. It's out there, and you have to use it, and you could use it. I'll show you something more. This is a tool called Systrax, and it's not available for free, but that shows you how Google sees you. And this is also something you should know. You should know to which search terms, keywords you are found, and how you are placed in the digital world outside. And this graph here shows you how good you perform in Google, in the search machines. And if you doing it right, you start here and you go up and up and up and up. That's the Google world. When you think about,
but the heuristic changes, right?
yeah, it changes a lot.
What does
Weekly.
What does that say?
It shows you the visibility in Google, because it measures where you with your site are placed, where you are placed in Google. So if you are placed on the first SERP, on the first search result page, and there in place 1, 2, 3, you will get more people visiting your site than on the second, third, and fourth page. So it's very, very important to see where am I in Google.
Well, what's area tracks?
The area. So this here, this is called the visibility index, and it's actually it's not something really visible, but you can compare it to other sites. So it's universal. So you can look at other sites, at your competitors. And for example, if this is redbull.com, I did this screenshot for another presentation. And if, for example, redbull.com has a competitor who's also doing energy drinks, and they have a visibility of 5, then that's bad for Red Bull, because the competitor is seen much better in Google. So, but Google, in that way where we're talking about big data and storytelling in the digital age, is only one channel that gets you your users, the people you want to reach. And I have another tool. This is called SimilarWeb. I think it's an Israeli company. And with SimilarWeb.
Sorry, the last one wasn't free, isn't it?
No, that wasn't free. That's
Okay.
called Systrix. I think it's about €100 a month or something like that.
100 euros a month.
Yeah, but it's not really important to have. It's just to show you that there's really the visibility of your content can be measured.
Mhm.
That was my thing I wanted you to show you. The other thing is when you talk about big data is that you should have a look, where are your people coming from? Where are your users coming from? And this is SimilarWeb. This is a tool which you can use for free. They have a pro version, but you don't really need to use that. You can have a look at every single site out there. Sometimes they don't have enough data, but most of the time they are very good at guessing where the people of those sites are coming. And if you have a look at this, then you see that you really have to produce content for different channels. So, we see here the direct traffic, which is branding. These are the people. It's also Red Bull. 16% of the people going to Red Bull come to Red Bull because Red Bull has a good branding. I don't know if it's a good branding, but it's 16%. 16% of the people coming to Red Bull type in the browser www.redbull.com, and but the other parts are much bigger. Then we have referrals, which means links from other websites, which is also very important. That tells me you need to be part of a community if you're talking about that. You need other sites linking to you. And this is what we see here with the referrals, and we also know that this is very, very important for Google. Then this here, the almost 38%, that's Google, that's search. And search is dominated by Google, especially in Europe. I think in Germany Google has about 95% of market share. So that shows you how important it is to get the needs of your users, your customers in Google. And also very interesting here is the part of social. And also 37% of people visiting the website redbull.com are coming through social channels. And that means if you think about storytelling, you do not only have to think about the search part, you have to think about how people interact with your content in the social web. And this is totally different to search. And the other things are email, newsletters, still a very, very good way to reach out to your customers, because there's no algorithm between there. You land directly in the inbox of the people you want to reach, and it's really hard to get someone to subscribe to a newsletter. And then this is paid traffic, which could be also a very, very good way of getting people to come to your website, because it's really a sweet push. It's pull. I pull them to my website, and I can targeted paid advertisement, for example, through native advertising like Outbrain. I don't know if you're familiar with that service. Outbrain gives you the possibility to put your content on other websites, on publisher websites. And for example, for Facebook advertising, it's a very good way to reach out to your users today. Here you see where the social traffic comes from at Red Bull, and that's also very important for you to know when you think about your content, because we see, okay, Facebook, 78%. So you should focus on content that works on Facebook, if you have figures like that. I was actually very surprised about Reddit. I didn't think that Reddit is so big for redbull.com. So what I would do is really make a deep dive into Reddit and think and try to figure out, why is it working so good? Why is my content so good? Why do they talk so much about my issues? And if you go further into Facebook, you should think a lot about how Facebook works, how Facebook tries to calculate how people work and what they are interested in. This is an example for a German football site, a football Facebook page we're doing, and it shows you how many information you get through Facebook. And this is really a very small view of the statistics you get on Facebook. So, I have a question. Who of you has thought about the Facebook algorithm already? Who of you did anything with the Facebook algorithm? What did you do? I think you
I've advertised on Facebook before.
Uh-huh. And what would you say? What is the miracle or the mystery about the Facebook algorithm? What is
The mystery.
Yeah. What is it, a mystery, or is it more like it's a success story? Why is Facebook so successful and what it does?
It depends on what you
Yes.
mean successful. I think it's under a lot of suspicion right now,
Yeah.
especially in the last month with the elections in the United States.
Yeah.
They're blaming not people just using it as a media, and it's not a media. So I think it's on suspicion. I wouldn't say it's successful.
It's still I think that they had the biggest quarter results ever. So it's a financial success.
Yeah, but
definitely.
I don't know if the image I have is that it's like a threat. Threatening people.
And
Because
why?
You get to see just part of your reality, which it also happens with Google and everything. But in Facebook, there's a generation that is not aware of the risks of the algorithm, so they're seeing only what they think and opinions that are similar to their own opinion, and only they're just a small portion of the small piece of the world. So.
So we're back at big data.
Yeah.
Right, so you're saying it keeps you in your own bubble, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't expose you to...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So sometimes I try to make the algorithm mad by clicking things that I'm not interested in, but I just want to, I don't know if
You just
it's
want to shake it up.
I want to shake it up, because if not, I always receive the same kind of thing. And sometimes you, just once you click a video of a baby, and then you get videos of babies for 3 weeks. So,
but what does that mean if you produce content? What does it mean?
No, if you produce content, it's helpful, but
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing something that people like, it's going to go straight to them.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, no, for sure.
So it's the risk is that you're doing only things people like and share, and you don't focus on your.
It's
your
like
story.
people's lives on Instagram, right? It's like they now live lives and take photos that they know people will like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
The thing is that you're always creating,
Mm-hmm.
taking into account how many people is gonna see
Mhm.
that. So it's like a circle. It's a dangerous circle
Mm-hmm.
because you're not creating something new, really new. You're not surprising.
I don't
You're
know.
just generating the same thing.
That would be one way, but that's why I want to talk about it, because that's the thing. You don't get rid of Facebook anymore. So it's out there for many people out there. Facebook is the internet, and that's something. For example, we talked about the channel very early, and if you find out that your people are on Facebook, then you need a strategy to get to them. And to have a Facebook strategy, you need to know how Facebook works, how the algorithm of Facebook works. And the key to the Facebook algorithms is here. This is the key to the Facebook algorithm. Because what does Facebook want? What content what kind of storytelling does Facebook need?
animated ones, pictures, videos.
Yeah. I would. That's one key. That's one format you use. But I would say just engaging.
Sure,
content.
yeah, captivating.
They want to know your mood, so they can
They want to know
give you
your
what you
mood.
need in that moment.
No, actually, Facebook has one goal. One goal, and the only goal of Facebook is keeping people on Facebook. Facebook is a drug. People, if people go away from Facebook, they don't see Facebook ads anymore, and Facebook doesn't earn any money. So the main goal of Facebook is keeping people happy, engaged, and the engagement could be also this here, angriness. So when you do content for your people, for your audience, you should always have in mind how can I get a reaction from that. If you don't get any likes, love, ha-has, yay, wow, sad, angry, no comments and no shares, you won't be seen. But if you're doing that, if you engage very deeply with your audience, and you are able to do engaging content, you will be successful on Facebook. And you said that sometimes you are in your personal filter bubble, and you only get from Facebook what you like. This is not totally true, because you can go through that. You can, if you have really compelling content, you get through. The algorithm decides, oh, this could be very interesting. People should share it and should see it. And so in every interaction you have on Facebook, the algorithm is calculating. Oh, okay, there's an action, there's a like, there's a comment, there's a share, and some more people see it. And you are right. These days, it's mainly animated content, videos. But and that brings us back to the thing about what kind of content do we need in the digital age, and how do we tell our stories. In the old age, storytelling was very slow. For example, I've seen a few weeks ago, I've seen an old Star Trek movie. I was a big Star Trek fan, and it was, what was it called? It was Star Trek First Contact, Star Trek 8. And at the time when I saw it for the first time, It was really like, wow, what an interesting movie. And now when I saw it again, it was just boring, because it took time for the story to develop. And that's something we can't do these days in social media. We need to develop our story to come to the point very, very fast. That's a learning out of this. Because if you don't get a reaction in a few seconds, you won't get any reaction. And that's that's my alarm clock. I put it on 6:30. I think we have 5 minutes left. To come to a conclusion, what I wanted to tell you is that it's not only about telling stories, but it's about telling the right story to the right people in the right format. And the right format could be video, but could be different on YouTube, like for example on Facebook. In Facebook, do you know how videos are played on Facebook?
In silence. In silence.
In silence, yeah. So what does it mean for your storytelling?
That you have to subtitle.
You have to subtitle, yeah. That's the thing, you have to subtitle. The other thing about Facebook videos is the format. You know how the perfect Facebook video is, normally in YouTube or in TV is 16:9. Is that the perfect format for Facebook? It's square on Facebook, and why? Because of these. Because a 16:9 video is just a small strip. The square video is almost full screen. So that's something you should know, and you should know that those videos won't work on YouTube because there's another format. So if you think about storytelling in the digital age, the first thing is know your audience, know where they are, and then produce the right content. This is very, very short because it's really complicated, because for example, if we do a new project, we're thinking about weeks for the right format for Facebook, for example. Because what you also have to know is that content shock, because the people are they have so many contents to see on Facebook. It's really like you scan through Facebook, and your content needs to be like, wow, stop with scanning. This is interesting. You have to know that. And actually, I'm really convinced that even tuberculosis, for example, or other issues which are not cat content, find the right people if you have the right tone and the right information. Okay, so and the last question I always get is when I'm talking about that, do I have to bend myself? Because I told you, no, you have to do you have to do formats for Facebook, and I would say yes, you have to find the right format, but the main thing about storytelling is about being yourself, staying yourself, and have your own voice, which could be recognized out there. I'm a heavy believer of branding. So, and everyone who's telling stories can brand themselves by telling those stories. And the main issue of my talk is content. Creative content is very, very important. But if you don't think about all that I try to talk today, you won't be successful. You can do the best content ever, but if you don't format it for the digital age, if you don't use the channels your audience is using, you won't be successful. And if you, for example, if you do a website, but your people are only on Facebook, it will be insane. Yeah. So, wow, I think if you have any questions, thank you very much. And think the next one is coming, yeah. And but if it's not started yet, we can have a small discussion. Yeah.
One question, first an apology for my drowsiness.
Yeah.
But how does word of mouth play into this landscape?
I think word of mouth.
Let me give you the analogy.
Yeah.
Some retailers
Uh-huh.
have almost no signage, make no noise, no promotion. Inditex and Sada are one case, and rather they rely on the word propagating. And and I guess the way this translates is, don't be obsessed with traffic. With just let people come find you and type your exact website and your exact blog.
Therefore, if you
and eventually you
I think that's something about branding. It's the only way to get people to type in your website is to get in their heads. And if you don't do some kind of branding, you won't get any traffic. So, but that was this slide here. That's where you really good in branding. And for example, main publishing houses like, for example, in German Spiegel.de, Spiegel.de has about 80% of direct traffic,
correct,
which is good on one hand, but on the other hand could be very bad, because Spiegel has a very good brand in the older community, people 40 plus. But the young ones are not really hooked to that kind of brand, and so they are on social. And if you don't get to the people in social, this one won't last very long.
I think in Zara's case, there's a different strategy. They've been communicating by using their stores as as the main as a total statements. And the thing is that you can find a store in the middle of every city in the world, and it's gonna be like free.
A plus.
best locations on the planet.
So they entered the digital world like late, and they only have like an app. And I think I've never looked Zara up in the internet, but things that you come across the store many times in your life, so I think it's a completely different strategy. Even their image is quite, the logo is quite ugly, the bags are quite ugly. I mean, they do not spend a lot of money on the escaparates and nothing. It's just about the product and the store, so it's a completely different strategy, but it's an interesting one, I think.
But actually the word of mouth is what I would call branding.
Yeah, I think it has to do that. It's something they do that they're talking a lot from fashion. So I think they want to have a low profile in communication and then show the product because people love the product.
Yeah, just a quick one on my end. I'm going to start a blog in the next month or two. Where do you think is the best way to do that? I'll be speaking to like 20 and 30-year-olds.
You mean technology?
Yeah, like so, platform-wise.
The best platform for blogging is still WordPress.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit complicated. You have to host it yourself. And,
sure.
If you blog for business, LinkedIn would be cool, but I think that's not for
yeah, what are your thoughts on Medium?
Huh? Medium is good, but I like the flexibility WordPress gives me, for example. And so Medium is a platform, and you don't know how long it will exist. I've seen many platforms dying, like blogger.com, like whatever. And so it's better to have my content on my own platform.
Yeah.
And then, but very important is when you do that, it will be social media.
Right.
So you won't get any reach without social media.
So and on that point, I'm actually not a huge fan of social media, and I think it's far more effective telling story to the press rather than to the social media. Where with one simple article published on the right publication, you can reach in a far more meaningful way. Because you look at Facebook, I mean, Facebook is inundating you with information. So the experience itself is never a really deep experience. A video is 20 seconds video. How can you really engage a customer to convert and become a real customer? While if you're reading the news, you're generally spending far more time reading and going in depth. Why do you haven't even touched on that?
The thing is, I used to work years in press, so I know how the press works. You get one magazine, for example, to write about your product, and then you need a cooling off phase of 4, 5, 6 months to say really write again about your product, and that's a long time. So it's good. PR is very good. You still should do that, and especially that to get in the heads of the people, to get the branding. PR is great because Google is only used when people know already what they are searching for. So if they don't have a brand name, they can't search for it. That's one thing. And the other thing is you have so many things to tell, but PR is not the way to tell everything, because they won't write in that frequency about your issues.
You also can't control what a journalist writes. I mean, at the end of the day, most journalists will not let you review their articles.
But you can't control either what Facebook says, for example, what comments are posted. So, for example, Hawkers. I was reading Hawkers launched a new pair of sunglasses, and behind Hawkers there were very offensive comments about Hawkers. Hawkers can't control that. So it's true, but it's all nice and pretty on the
I'm not saying I don't actually have a Facebook account. I don't use Facebook, so I'm not a big fan of social media. But I'm just saying that it's not like with journalism and press that you can really get your message out the way you want it.
And the main thing is if you give an interview, for example, to a journalist, and on video, he will use 10 seconds. But if you have something to tell, you could even make a video with 3, 4, 5 hours on YouTube. Nobody will watching it. Perhaps they will. For example, the Let's Players, the people who film themselves playing video games, they have videos about 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, and it's really working. So it depends on your content, on your story. And I would always advise you doing classic PR. But if you really have a story to tell, you should use your own platforms. And the platforms, social media. You said you're not a huge fan of social media. If your audience is on social media, you should be there. No, it's not because if you're not there where your audience is, you're just like.